Alrighty, next up we have a Sultana's Strings. That was strings, I just put a weird inflection on it. Given to us by Elfino in the northeast corner of the Alamegan Quarter. And here we go. I didn't write it down. Hold on, let me just freaking write it down. A Sultana's Strings. Okay, there we go. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasures to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Arnvold? I'm at your beck and call. And I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down into the ruins and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send Nanamo my regards, Mercy. Nanamo, send Nanamo my regards. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. I'm going to Ulda, which means I can just do this thing to get to there. Yeah, one of the things about Final Fantasy XIV that bugs me, and I cannot recall this happening in any other game I have played that's like an MMO, is if you miss your queue, like you queue for a dungeon, and you miss it somehow, like, oh my gosh, my kid fell off a chair or is about to fall off a chair or whatever, and you miss the queue because you forgot to cancel it because your kid was about to fall off a chair and things happen, you get penalized for missing the queue. The reality of missing a queue is that the people who were waiting for that queue will just get the next person. And sorry, if it's a healer or a tank, it might be a little bit longer than an extra DPS, but not a lot. Like 30 seconds maybe at most. My full free company member, co-member, whatever, is a parent, so like they did say they had to put their kids to sleep so that, you know, they queued for an extreme Ifrit trial and missed it because whatever, and now it's too late. Now they have to put their kids to sleep so that they're done for the day. But anyway, we've teleported to Gridania because of my free teleport. That's my home point, my free teleport, and then airshipped over to Ul'dah. We were in the Royal Promenade talking to our good friend Bartholomew. My lady, it was an honor to face you in the tournament. Since that day, I have spent my every spare moment in the practice yard, striving to attain some fraction of your skill with the blade. Forgive me, you are here for the audience for the Sultana. Please proceed. You only get that dialogue if you have played Paladin up to level 70. Well, probably like 68, actually, or 66, but...
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy.
Always, yeah.
The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel.
Okay. I'm not... Okay.
I speak of Raubahn and his future.
Oh. Maybe he could pull double duty? Like, I don't know.
All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Ul'dah home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo.
I think they have changed Nanamo's voice actress since the last time I remember hearing her.
And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss.
I remember her voice being much higher. Like, Raubahn! Anyway.
Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, And beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Raubahn chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him?
You could, in theory, find someone else who could take his place. Like the first Sword of Nald. It would give him a reason to stick around. Be happy with God. What's the paladin lead, the gladiator leader lady's name? Lucia is with I don't remember right now. It might come. I think it does start with an M. I can't remember right now.
It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears.
Yeah, but you should still have protection.
Might I have your company for a brief adventure?
Okay. Of course.
Wonderful.
Mila? Yeah, I think Mila.
Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
We're meeting in her chambers. Like, this is actually her room with her circular table where the poisoning, or attempted poisoning, happened so long ago. Speak with Nanamo outside the quicksand. Alright, I can do that, I suppose. Let's sprint. I don't use my sprints as often as I should, just to shave a little bit of time here and there. Shave could also have been me mispronouncing like save on purpose, just to make it shave it at no time. Sorry, I'm ridiculous. I can't remember if this is Adventurers Guild, right? Yeah. AKA sort of. Oh, she's in a pink robe with a hood up. Oh, she's not the hood, but she's got the turban, bandana, head covering, whatever, of the people of Ul'dah that they often, especially the Lalafell. Well, a lot of the races in Ul'dah do this head covering. What do you think of Lilira, the merchant's daughter? This is the disguise I don when I wish to leave the palace and observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papazon would accompany me, but for this particular outing I need an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you have met people from all walks of life, in every corner of Eorzea, and I would make use of your worldly experience. Now, let's be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nald. Alright. So, let's use this to go to the Gate of Nald. Boom. We can fly. Chocobo in the sky. Oh, we have to go that far. She's standing next to a tree and some tents outside the city. I think this is where some refugees have set up camp. Look upon this procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanalin's predators both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is. And unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo, and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. You've done your best, Your Grace, or your hands have been tied, Your Grace. Hands have been tied is more accurate, I believe. If her hands were not tied, she could theoretically do more, I think. Yes, my authority is limited, and that is an obstacle I must work to overcome. Shall we press on? I would follow the road to the unholy air. Why don't you just ride on my mount? That was not a come on. No, I know. Yeah, it wasn't. She's a cutie, but I would die for her, and not in like a sexual way. That shouldn't need to be said, but Yeah, I ain't one of them peeps that creeps on these, like, child-looking short races. Like in frickin', this game I played that I loved called Terra. I think it was Terra. It's been a while since not that long, but it's called Terra. Fantastic, like, first-person view, like, of everything you do. You can kind of pull the camera back a bit, but not a lot. You can kind of see around you a bit, but... And it is actually, that is a smarter idea than being in first-person camera, but you have to have your character facing the correct direction to do any hits, which is like other games, but also you literally have a targeting reticle, like a first-person shooter. It was a fun game, but they had this like young race called like the Ico or whatever they were. I don't remember what they're called, but they looked like really young girls, but they were theoretically super old. But I don't remember, but it's a Korean game, I think, and it catered to possible pedophiles, but I mean, it's not like it's proven, but still freaking weird. She is overlooking the spot where we it's kind of like this giant freaking rock formation in the middle of this like shallow lake. It was here, in this wholly unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in eastern Thanalan when an untimely rock slide crushed their carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Raubahn once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the monetarists, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. Their hirelings, yeah. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my actions would have for you and yours. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price for my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the monetarist's damnable games. Forgive me my outburst. You are one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. Her character did, in fact, like her tune, I don't know what to call it, did, in fact, like stomp her foot, wave her hands in the air in frustration, which is why I pronounced certain words the way I did. And because they were also, like, italicized or whatever. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. Whatever. We have to come all the way out here? No, I'm just kidding. It was fine. I have to do... Yeah, 194 is nothing. Bitch, I said what I said. That song pops in my head every once in a while, but only those lyrics, because that's the only lyrics I know. Those are the only lyrics I know. Gladiators Guild? Right? That's what the Colosseum is. Yeah. Part of me does like the other movement configuration, the legacy type. But it just made targeting so annoying. It's only on enemies. On anything else it was fine because you don't have to face something to heal it. But I got used to it. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years I simply signed where I was told to sign, and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life, for it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Raubahn. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice, and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Raubahn to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raubahn had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. and when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Raubahn is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the blood sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom but a seat on the syndicate. And then I had my blade. Cutscene. We get a flashback. Screen goes white, then black. Please talk so I don't have to. We're seeing the Colosseum. Raubahn has a man down to his left, 2 others in front of him. Cuts one guy down in one swoop after dodging a blow, parries another blow with his shield or blocks it. The great axe, but his shield goes down. The man with the great axe charges. Raubahn ducks under a bit, and then one more sword blow takes him out as well. He's got his bull helmet on, like a minotaur. Sheathes his gigantic frickin' sword. Got another sword on his other hip. Takes off his helmet. Holds it up to the crowd.
Your Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
Nanamo comes running in, dodging her attendants, jumping over the fallen.
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Shum. Raubahn!
She jumps on
Your
top
Grace.
of a fallen body and leaps into his arms.
I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Uldar. And so, as tradition dictates, Raubahn Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last.
He took a knee, held his sword out to her, and she comes to him again for like a hug and a lift.
Long live the Sultana, and long live Uldar!
He lifts her on one arm as he has before in this game. And that's it. That's our vision. We're back in the present near the Colosseum, and we're going to talk to Nanamo to finish this. Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa San's love for me is as that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raubahn, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. A Sultana strings is going to be complete here. I get my choice of food or 1,000 gil. Which of these would I actually use? Determination, piety, or spell speed. I might use piety food. Whatever. 1,000 gil is nothing. Alright. That's the end of the Sultana strings. I will see you next time. Bye.